It's a stormy night on the edge of nowhere. The wind howls like a grieving ghost, rattling the tin roof of a lonely cabin. Inside, a man, scarred hands, tired eyes, sits hunched over a flickering lamp, sipping stale coffee. He's used to silence, used to being alone. Then 3 sharp knocks at the door. Not human. Too light. Too fast. He freezes. The knocks come again, this time weaker, almost a scratch. When he opens the door, his breath catches. A creature, tall, gaunt, barely standing, collapses at his feet. Its skin shimmers faintly under the rain, like liquid silver streaked with soot. In its trembling arms, a small bundle, no, a baby. Her wide, alien eyes lock onto his, desperate, pleading. For a moment, the universe holds its breath. He should shut the door, call someone, do anything but this. Instead, he kneels. Easy now, you're safe here. As he reaches for them, he doesn't know his choice will change everything. Not just for him, but for the future of 2 worlds. Because some monsters aren't monsters at all. And sometimes, humanity's greatest strength is its heart. The man wasn't anyone special. Not to the world. Anyway, name's Jack Rayner. 42. Ex-mechanic. Loner by necessity, not choice. Out here in the wilds of Montana, people leave you alone if you leave them alone. That's how Jack liked it. No neighbors. No noise. Just the stars above and the crackle of an old radio. But that night, the stars were gone. Clouds thick like tar swallowed the sky, and rain lashed against his windows. He sat in his creaky chair, boots still wet from chopping wood earlier, staring into nothing. That's when he heard it. Knock, knock, knock. At first, he thought it was the storm playing tricks. Nobody ever came this far. But then again, softer, slower, he grabbed his old hunting rifle and edged to the door. Who's there? His voice cracked from disuse. No answer. He cracked the door just enough to peek and froze. There she was, a being that didn't belong to Earth. Her frame was willowy, almost insectal, but her posture, curled protectively around a small, whimpering form, was achingly human. Her eyes, large, glassy, black as midnight, met his. Fear, exhaustion, and something else, hope. Jack's gut twisted. This wasn't first contact. This was a mother begging for mercy. The storm was unrelenting. Wind screamed across the barren plains, battering the little wooden cabin, standing stubbornly against nature's rage. Sheets of rain slapped against the windows, making it hard to tell where the earth ended and the sky began. Jack Rayner sat hunched at his kitchen table, fingers wrapped around a chipped mug of coffee gone cold hours ago. The room smelled faintly of oil and old wood smoke. His radio hissed in the background, catching scraps of static and voices too faint to understand. It had been 5 years since he'd left civilization behind. 5 years of silence, except for the occasional supply run into town and the company of his own thoughts. He liked it that way, or at least, that's what he told himself. Then came the sound. Knock, knock, knock. Jack's head jerked up. The sound barely carried over the howling wind, but it was there, sharp, deliberate. He stayed still, listening. Knock, knock. This time softer, almost hesitant. Nobody came out here. Neighbors were miles away, and no delivery trucks dared the back roads during weather like this. Grabbing his old hunting rifle from where it leaned by the door, he moved cautiously, boots creaking on the warped floorboards. "Who's there?" he called out, voice hoarse. No answer. The third knock wasn't a knock at all. It was a scratching, weak and frantic, like claws or small hands raking across the wood. Heart pounding. Jack slid the deadbolt and cracked the door. His breath caught. A figure stood there, barely upright against the wind. Rain plastered a tattered cloak to its impossibly thin frame. Its skin, or what he thought was skin, gleamed faintly silver under the porch light, marred with dark streaks like bruises or burns. But it wasn't the figure's alienness that froze him. It was what it held. In its arms, cradled as if it were the most fragile thing in existence, was a small bundle, something alive. A faint, bluish glow pulsed from within the cloth, weak and irregular like a faltering heartbeat. The creature's large, reflective eyes fixed on him, not the cold gaze of a predator, but something rawer, terror, exhaustion, and a plea. Jack's instinct screamed at him to slam the door, lock it, and never speak of this again. This wasn't his problem. This wasn't even his species. But he didn't. "Jesus Christ," he muttered, lowering the rifle. "You're half dead." He stepped back, opening the door wider. The alien hesitated, legs trembling like a newborn calf. Then slowly, it stumbled forward and collapsed onto the floorboards, clutching the glowing bundle to its chest with the last of its strength. Jack dropped to his knees. Up close, the creature was even more surreal. Its skin rippled faintly, as though alive with microscopic movement. Gills or vents along its neck fluttered weakly, and a sweet, metallic scent filled the air. The bundle stirred, a tiny face peeking out, smaller, softer, with faint ridges along its skull. Its huge, watery eyes blinked at Jack, and a sound like a kitten's whimper escaped its mouth. "God damn it," Jack whispered. His gut twisted. He couldn't leave them. Not now. He slid his arms under the mother's fragile body and lifted her with surprising ease. She weighed no more than a teenage girl, her body frighteningly light. Carefully, he carried her inside, setting her down on the couch. The baby, or whatever it was, remained clutched tight in her arms, even in unconsciousness. Jack stoked the fire, throwing in extra logs until the cabin glowed with warmth. He grabbed a blanket and draped it over them. As he worked, the mother stirred faintly. Her hand, 3 fingers, jointed differently than his, brushed his wrist. Her lips moved, forming sounds that weren't words but carried emotion all the same. A single tear, silver like mercury, rolled down her cheek. Jack sat back, running a hand through his damp hair. He'd signed up for solitude, not this. But as the baby gave a soft, hiccuping cry, something deep in his chest shifted. This wasn't just an encounter. It was a test, and he didn't intend to fail. The cabin was quiet now, save for the crackle of the fire and the soft patter of rain on the roof. Jack sat on the edge of the couch, staring at the unconscious alien curled up with her child. He'd seen plenty of strange things during his time as a mechanic, accidents, injuries, even a few brawls in dark bars. But nothing prepared him for this. The mother stirred. Her eyes fluttered open, black and glassy, reflecting the firelight like twin pools of oil. At first, confusion, then fear. She jerked back, clutching the baby tighter to her chest. A sound spilled from her mouth, clicking, layered with low vibrations that sent shivers up Jack's spine. "Easy," Jack said, raising both hands in what he hoped was a universal gesture of peace. "I'm not going to hurt you." She froze, staring at him. Her body trembled violently, whether from weakness or terror. He couldn't tell. Jack stood slowly and grabbed a mug from the shelf. He poured in warm water and set it on the table between them. "Drink?" he asked, miming the action. The alien blinked, her gaze darting between him and the cup. Then her hands flexed oddly, as if trying to understand his gesture. Slowly, she reached out. Her fingers, 3 long digits ending in soft pads, wrapped around the mug. The moment the warm liquid touched her lips, she recoiled, hissing softly. Steam curled up from where the water had kissed her skin. Jack cursed under his breath. "Okay, not water." He looked at her, at the faint pulsing lines running beneath her skin like glowing veins, and realization dawned. Electricity. He rummaged through the junk drawer, and pulled out an old car battery. The alien watched warily as he set up a makeshift lead. When he touched the clamp to her hand, a small arc of blue light jumped. Her body jerked at first, then stilled. She closed her eyes, her breathing slowing as her skin's faint glow grew stronger. The baby whimpered, and the glow passed into its tiny form as she cradled it. Jack let out a shaky laugh. Guess you're not so different. Everyone needs food. For hours, Jack watched them from across the room. The mother's breathing evened out, and the child's glow brightened to a healthy hue. But when Jack moved closer, the mother's eyes snapped open, her muscles tensing. "Relax," he muttered, squatting low so his posture wasn't threatening. He pointed at himself. "Jack." Then at her. "You." She blinked, her lips parted slightly, but no sound came that he could understand. Instead, she pressed a hand to her chest and emitted a soft trill. The sound was layered, melodic, almost a name. "Yeah, I'll stick with calling you Mom for now," Jack said, a small smile tugging at his lips. Later, Jack made a rough cradle from scrap wood and lined it with an old flannel shirt. When he gently gestured for her to place the child in it, she hesitated. Her black eyes searched his face, as if trying to judge his intent. Finally, she laid the baby down. The baby stirred, letting out a high-pitched chirp. Jack froze. The mother tensed. Then, a gurgling sound that could almost be a laugh escaped the tiny being. Jack chuckled too. Cute little guy. Or girl. Or whatever. As night deepened, Jack patched the cracks in the windows and piled more wood on the fire. He glanced at the alien mother. She was watching him now, her expression unreadable, but no longer afraid. For the first time in years, Jack felt needed. He muttered under his breath, "What the hell am I doing? Huh? Taking in space refugees." The alien's head tilted slightly, and though she couldn't understand the words, something in Jack's tone seemed to reach her. She made a soft, trilling sound, less wary, almost grateful. But as Jack drifted into uneasy sleep, he didn't notice the faint glow outside the window. High above, hidden in the clouds, a dark shape hovered silently. Somebody was looking for her, and they weren't going to knock. The storm had passed by morning, leaving the world cloaked in damp silence. Jack stepped outside, boots sinking into the muddy earth. The air smelled of wet pine and ozone. He scanned the horizon instinctively. The sky was clear now, save for a faint shimmer, like heat haze, high above the treeline. His brows furrowed. He rubbed his eyes, but when he looked again, it was gone. "Probably nothing," he muttered, though his gut disagreed. Inside, the alien mother sat upright now, her body visibly stronger after a night of drawing energy from Jack's makeshift setup. The baby nestled against her chest, its glow soft and steady. Jack offered her a piece of bread. She sniffed it, then shook her head. Instead, her gaze flicked nervously to the window. "You expecting company?" Jack asked dryly, then immediately felt foolish. She couldn't understand him, but her eyes, wide and dark as twin voids, spoke volumes. Fear, desperation, warning. The warning came too late. A low hum began outside, subtle at first, then rising to a bone-deep vibration that set Jack's teeth on edge. He rushed to the window. A shape descended from the sky, blotting out the sun. Sleek, black as obsidian, it was neither plane nor helicopter. The craft hovered silently, its surface rippling like liquid metal. Strange glyphs glowed faintly along its hull. "Son of a—" Jack's heart slammed against his ribs. The alien mother let out a sharp, clicking sound. Her body tensed as though ready to bolt, but she clutched the baby tighter. Jack grabbed his rifle. Useless against whatever tech they had, but it was all he had. Outside, a hatch opened on the ship's underside. Figures emerged, tall and armored in chitinous suits that shimmered like oil slicks. Their faces were obscured by masks, each bearing a single glowing eye. They moved with predatory precision, scanning the area. One of them raised a clawed hand to a strange device, and a pulse of red light swept across the cabin. Jack ducked instinctively. Damn it, they're scanning for her. The alien mother hissed low in her throat. She pressed her glowing fingers to the baby's head, then placed a trembling hand on Jack's chest. A faint surge of warmth spread through him, like static electricity crawling over his skin. He didn't know what she was doing, but it felt like a silent plea. A trust offered. You're asking me to hide you. Jack's jaw tightened. All right, but I don't know if it's gonna work. Moving fast, Jack pushed the mother and child toward the root cellar. It wasn't much, just a dugout under the floorboards, but it might buy them time. Stay quiet, no matter what. She gave a soft, guttural sound. Not words, but enough for Jack to understand. She trusted him. The cabin door rattled suddenly. A mechanical voice barked something in an alien tongue. Jack gripped his rifle, his palms slick with sweat. "This is private property," he shouted, forcing his voice to sound steady. "You're trespassing." The door exploded inward. A figure stepped through, towering over Jack by at least a foot. Its single eye glowed blood red as it scanned him, then the room. Jack raised his rifle. "Back off." The alien tilted its head as if amused. With a flick of its hand, the rifle was torn from Jack's grip and sent clattering into the corner. Two more figures entered, their scanners sweeping the room. One paused near the floorboards, its clawed hand tapping the wood. They were close. Too close. Desperation clawed at Jack's mind. He grabbed a metal poker from the fireplace and swung hard at the nearest invader. Sparks flew as the blow glanced off its armor. The alien snarled and backhanded Jack across the room. Pain shot through his ribs as he slammed against the wall. But the noise had a consequence. The baby in the cellar let out a tiny, frightened chirp. Every alien head snapped toward the sound. Jack's blood ran cold. "No," he gasped, dragging himself upright. "You're not taking them." The lead alien raised its weapon, a sleek rod that began to glow ominously. Jack's eyes darted to the old microwave on the counter. A crazy idea sparked. He hurled the microwave into the fireplace and smashed the control panel. The machine sparked violently, filling the air with a shrieking buzz. The aliens recoiled as their scanners and suits flickered erratically. "How's that for a distraction?" Jack growled. He lunged for his rifle as the aliens staggered, their movements glitching. He fired, not to kill, but at the window. Glass shattered, rain and wind blasting in. "Go!" He roared toward the cellar. The alien mother burst from hiding, her body alight with bioluminescent streaks. She let out a piercing trill that made the invaders flinch. Cradling her baby, she bolted through the broken window into the storm. Jack followed, blood dripping from his lip. For the first time in years, he wasn't running from life. He was running to protect it. The forest swallowed them whole. Jack sprinted through the underbrush, lungs burning, rifle clutched tight in his hands. Behind him, the alien mother ran with impossible grace, even while cradling her child. Her bioluminescent streaks flickered brighter with every step, like a living beacon in the darkness. "We've got to keep moving," Jack hissed, his boots sinking in the sodden earth. "They'll be right behind us." A shrill hum split the air. Too late. The hunter's craft descended through the trees, its dark surface splitting open to release a new wave of armored pursuers. Their glowing eyes cut through the gloom like searchlights. Jack yanked the alien mother behind a fallen log just as a beam of red energy scorched the ground where they'd stood seconds ago. Dirt and debris exploded into the air. "We can't outrun them," Jack muttered, gripping the stock of his rifle until his knuckles ached. The alien mother's eyes darted to him, her expression unreadable. Then she placed the baby gently into Jack's arms. "Wait, what are you?" She stood, her glowing patterns flaring brighter, painting the trees in ghostly blue light. Her throat vibrated with a low, resonant hum that grew into a haunting trill. The hunters paused. Even they seemed wary now. Then she raised her hands. Energy coursed down her arms, gathering at her fingertips in crackling arcs of light. With a piercing cry, she unleashed it. A wave of searing blue energy tore through the forest, flattening trees and slamming into the lead hunter. Its armor screamed as it twisted and cracked, sending the creature sprawling. Jack's eyes widened. Holy hell! But the effort cost her. She staggered, her glow dimming. The remaining hunters recovered quickly, raising their weapons. Jack handed the baby back and stepped up beside her. "You're not doing this alone." She looked at him, really looked at him for the first time. Then she gave the faintest nod. The hunters advanced. Jack took aim and fired, his bullets sparking off their armor, but slowing them down. One lunged forward, claws raised, and Jack ducked under its swing, driving his rifle butt into its mask. The creature reeled. Beside him, the alien mother sent another pulse of energy arcing into the enemy ranks, but her attacks were weaker now, faltering. "She's burning out," Jack realized with a surge of panic. The baby let out a frightened chirp. The sound seemed to ignite something in her. Her glow brightened again, not steady, but flaring like a dying star. The lead hunter stepped forward, its weapon charging with a whine that set Jack's teeth on edge. "No!" Jack roared. He hurled himself in front of the alien mother, bracing for the shot. But it never came. The alien mother let out a sound like tearing metal and released a final burst of energy. The blast struck the lead hunter square in the chest, sending it flying back into its craft. The impact triggered a chain reaction. Glyphs on the ship's surface flared wildly before the entire structure collapsed inward with a deafening implosion. The surviving hunters staggered, their armor sparking and systems failing. One by one, they vanished into shimmering portals, retreating. The forest fell silent. Jack turned to see the alien mother on her knees, clutching her baby. Her glow was faint now, flickering dangerously. Hey, stay with me," Jack said, dropping beside her. "Don't you dare give up." Her hand found his, fingers weak but determined. She gazed at him with those deep, liquid eyes, and even without words, Jack understood. She hadn't expected kindness. She hadn't expected anyone to fight for her, and now she knew he would. Somewhere above, a faint streak of light shot across the sky. The hunter ship's distress beacon. More would come. Jack knew it, but he didn't care. "We'll find a way out," he whispered fiercely. "I don't care how many of them there are." The alien mother's lips parted, and she let out a soft, musical tone, a sound that almost felt like hope. For the first time in years, Jack felt it too.